York's very own muscle building coaches, Anthony Bevilacqua and Pete Kacharian, proudly present to you New York Muscle Radio.
What's up, guys? New York Muscle Radio, episode number 158, Living the High Life with Brandon Carter. On today's episode, we have a YouTube celebrity, Brandon Carter, on. We discuss how he got started, how his business and his YouTube channel just blew up. This is an awesome story, and you don't want to miss it. What's up, guys? It's your host, Anthony Bevilacqua, alongside my co-host, Big Pete Kacharian. If you're a new listener, welcome to the best muscle building, fat burning, fitness network on the planet. And today's podcast is brought to you by New York Muscle Radio Supplements, the only company in this industry you can trust. What's up, big guy?
I like the way you put that, man, because it's so true. And that's one of the things we pride ourselves in is, being trustworthy, and we put our name on our products, and we want to put out quality for everybody out there that wants quality supplements.
We should probably coin that. That was kind of an impromptu intro there. I just kind of threw that in. But that was pretty good.
It's true, though. So, if it's true, it definitely works, In
NYMR, we trust.
Yeah. And, we're not just like, I know we say this stuff all the time, too, but it really is true. I mean, the stuff that we do put out there, we put it out there for you guys because we were once in that position where we couldn't get supplements that we really, were able to trust people if it was legit or not, because you know how this industry is. People put out fake stuff. We were in the position where...
I don't get why, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's actually funny because I was watching the first time today because it was snow day. I watched the Bronx Tale. I never saw that movie before.
Never? This is the first time?
And
really?
First time I saw it, yeah. And in the movie, the father says to the kid, Calogero.
Yeah.
That's an Italian name. I don't know how many people know that name.
Mm-hmm.
But he says to the kid, he goes, the safest thing that I have is I'm able to put my head on my pillow at night.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Like, how could you rest at night knowing that... Yeah, man, that kid that bought that protein powder, he's only getting 10 grams of protein, but I made, it only cost me $5 for him to buy. You know what I mean? Like, what are you getting out of that? Just put out a real product, man. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I've said that before, too. I guess you could say it's a bad thing if you're trying to be a crooked salesman or something like that, but I can't lie about stuff like that. I'm not good at it. I can't sell you a product that I don't really believe in or truly believe in myself. So if, there's somebody asks me, what do you think of this supplement? Does it work or is it good? If I don't think it's good or it doesn't work, I can't come off with enthusiasm and tell you, listen, this product is great if I don't truly believe it. So I wouldn't even be successful trying to lie to people. So I don't even bother trying to do that.
Well, you lie to everyone every time you're on the podcast, man. You pretend you're someone else. Your alter ego.
Yeah. Well, I'm not pretending. But that's just how I am,
Like, even with Taxidrol too. Taxidrol is a testosterone supplement.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and I did blood work on it. Like, we had several people who also wanted to try it, and we let them do blood work because we wanted to make sure this stuff actually worked. And it did. It showed a 10%. I think it was 10%. I don't have the numbers in front of me 100% yet, but I think it was a 10% increase in just free testosterone alone. So we know it works. And again, we're not going to lie. It's not going to be, it's not going to be like taking a steroid. It's not a magical pill. And in fact, actually, it'll probably work better for older guys because it'll definitely start turning things on that have been turned off for so long. So again, we're not going to market it as, the best muscle building, product. You need Taxidrol. No, we've said this from day one. You don't need any supplement. You could just get by with having something like Cracking the Flexible Dieting Code, the ebook that we sell on our website, New York Muscle Radio. That's all you really need.
Yeah.
That little $20 investment can go a long way before buying any supplements.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would tell people right away. The first thing if they come to us and they ask, well, I'm brand new to working out, what should I do? Well, number one and number two is, listen to this podcast, try to get as much information out of it as you can and apply it. And if you need a resource, Cracking the Flexible Dieting Code is going to help you with everything you need for nutrition, and you'll learn exactly what you need to do. I wouldn't say, okay, buy this supplement, and, just start buying all this stuff because, supplements are going to help you, but they're only going to help you once you have the foundation in place and you know what you're doing, because it's a small piece of the puzzle, and it's really for the extra, few percent that you're going to milk after you have all the basics down.
Yeah, I mean, we've always been like that. I mean, I can speak for myself, as a personal trainer too. I could have made a lot more money selling supplements right off the bat but I never did. I never promoted supplements. It wasn't until, like I said, because of everything that was going on in this industry, I was looking for a way out of that. And my solution to the problem was, all right, I'll just create my own and I'll pay the extra for all the testing to make sure it is what it is. So that's why here we are today with NYMR Sups.
Yeah, funny how that works, you know?
Yeah, well, out of a need comes a solution, right?
Very true, yeah.
So did you shovel a lot today, man?
We didn't. So by me, we didn't get too much snow. I mean, we got snowed in a little bit, so we did have to shovel. But I actually, obviously, since I'm doing all the work at home, I didn't have to leave any particular time during the day. So I waited until about, I don't know, let's say 7 or 8 p.m. actually tonight to shovel, and I actually waited until it froze. So I just made it way more difficult on myself. So I spent a good half hour, 45 minutes shoveling something that probably could have took me 15 minutes this morning, just to make sure that my pathway was clear and I get my car out.
Yeah, you'll be all right, man. It's all right. It's a little extra back work for you.
Oh, yeah, perfect. After the day of deadlifts yesterday, I was really looking forward to it. It was good.
Yeah, it's always good when you can't feel your legs.
You know, it's funny the proper way to shovel is, get down, squat, use your legs a little bit, throw your whole body into it. But because I was so sore from yesterday, I was like, all right, let's just let the arms do all the work today.
How is that different from when you deadlift?
It's really not.
Dude, the funniest thing ever was yesterday when you were deadlifting. At one rep, one of the reps, I might have been like the third or fourth rep, something like that. Literally, all you saw was like you picking the weight up with your arms. Like I've never seen that ever in my life. You literally picked the weight up with your arms, and your back was just along for the ride.
Oh, well, you know it's I can't help
wish
it.
I had that on video, man. I really do.
I can't help it, man. I can't. It's terrible. It's bad, but that's what happens when I start getting fatigued, especially because I think that was my last set of deadlifts. And, so you made me, we started doing deadlifts. You said do a heavy set of 8 reps, another heavy set of 8. And then you had me do a few back-off sets just to get more volume in. And by the time the back-off sets I was already finished. My back was destroyed. And you had me stripping weight off.
There we go. There's the words again.
Yes, the very strong, what did you say?
Destroyed.
Yeah. What did you say?
I
have a lot of strong adjectives in my descriptions.
Vocabulary.
Yeah.
Destroyed. Annihilated.
So yeah,
it's never like, oh man, my back was tired.
So whenever my back gets tired like that, I always have plenty of strength in the arms, so I just row it, get it up.
Well, that makes sense. But actually, man, I had to take I mean, you know this. I was battling tendonitis in my medial epicondylitis in my elbow for so long. I think there was just a combination of heavy deadlifting multiple times a week, squatting, training arms heavy. It was just a combination of everything. I think I was really fatigued and beat up too. So for whatever reason, tendonitis flared up in my arm. It took forever for it to go away. I actually took, I want to say like a month off training arms. I lost like an inch and a half off of my arms, pretty much back to square one. But it's cool, man. It's like week 3 right now of the ARM program, and I'm back to 18. I took a picture for it today. Back to 18, so pretty much back where I am. So I'm excited because deload is probably in like another week and a half, so I know I'll get back all the size that I lost. It's so funny because the ARM program actually works. I love that.
Yeah.
We did it, man. We did it. You didn't think it was possible, but it is. I told you I could do it.
Yeah, I mean, and see, that's the beauty of it because you can take that time off. It's not advisable, but let's say you do have an injury or your training is a little more focused on something else, and obviously your training is not specific to building big arms. Your main focus, that's a secondary focus for you, but your main focus is obviously powerlifting. So if you have to take time and focus on powerlifting or focus on something other than building big arms, you could take that time off, and maybe your arms might, you might lose a little bit of that size just because you're not actively working on them, but you could hop right back on it 2 or 3 weeks in and your arms will blow back up and you'll get that size back. And, arguably you could probably take a couple steps back, recover like that, and then put 100% effort into it and beat your previous best, which is what you'll probably end up doing now. So,
yeah, definitely.
If the program works, that's what'll happen. You'll be able to keep making progress. It doesn't always have to be linear, but you can always go back to it and you could pass your previous best.
Actually, we should bring this up because someone actually emailed me a question that they had. They're on the ARM program. They're loving the ARM program, getting results from it. But they had a question about like chest volume, and they were saying, I'm only doing this amount of work. Is this enough for chest? So I explained to them, I said, yeah, it is because our primary emphasis right now is on growing your arms.
Right.
So you don't want to put so much emphasis, do as I say, not as I do before I say that.
Right.
But you want to put so much emphasis into building your arms only. If you focus on your chest and your back, and nothing's going to grow that way. I mean, I know that from experience. See, but I'm just very, very hard-headed. And when I put my mind to something, it just ends up working. But I think my two concrete goals don't have any overlap either. I want to get stronger, which is fine. And you don't really use your arms in any of the lifts except the bench. So I think that's why I can get away with it so well.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it's honestly, you made progress and you can't argue with results, but I would still say that the way you have it set up is definitely not ideal, but you made it work. So, you can't argue with that. But with anything, like I always say this too, when you have one goal, you have to make that a priority over everything else. So something else is going to have to take a back seat. So if your goal is big arms, then you might want to make that your main priority over powerlifting. But in your case, I mean, you're not going to stop powerlifting or put it on the back burner just for big arms. So that's the way you went about it. Yeah, you still got the results, which is great. But with anything, even just if your goal is based around your physique, you want to take a little bit of time to focus on one body part, you're going to have to put some other body parts a little bit on the back burner. You don't have to stop training them, but you can't train everything as a priority. Not the whole body's not going to grow all at once. It's just you don't have the time. You don't have the energy. I tried. Yeah, you can't. You can't. I mean, I tried that for years, and I never understood that mentality. Like, okay, prioritize something and then puts the other muscle groups on maintenance. I always said, but I just want to grow everything, and you can in the beginning, but once you have a solid foundation, you got to focus on one thing at a time. Even if it's only for a short period of time and you rotate through your other body parts, you can't do it all at once. There's got to be a priority. There has to be.
Yeah, agreed. All right, man, let's move on to the New York Muscle Radio quote of the day. So today's quote is going to be from Brandon Carter. It's fitting for this podcast. So if any of his listeners, they already know a lot of his stuff, and he's a big motivational guy. You love that, man. He's real Tony Robbins-ish.
No, I wouldn't class him in with Tony Robbins-ish. I mean, it's funny because we had a conversation about motivation. I think his ideas with motivation and actual work ethic are pretty in line with mine, because a lot of the guys that do love like Tony Robbins and stuff like that, they're into that whole idea of listening to motivational stuff, reading motivational stuff, and getting all this information in them and not really doing too much with it. And obviously Brandon, just the amount of success he has, he's not one of those people that just takes in information and does nothing
with it. All right,
Pete,
we get it. You're kissing off. We get it. Wait, before you play the quote, I just have something I want to tell you. So we got an email the other day, and I was cracking up. So obviously this person was trying to, sell themselves and get themselves to come on the podcast. So
did they do a good job?
No, they did a horrible job. That's why I'm talking about it. So they said something like, the title was like, "Are estrogens killing you?" or something like that. And he basically talked about how, I would love to come on your podcast and talk about how the different chemicals in the soaps that you're using and all this stuff is actually killing you, and this estrogen is making you lose muscle. Delete. I'm like, does this guy listen to the podcast? At least if you listen to the podcast before you actually try to come on.
But was that in reference to when we made fun of that?
No.
Because you remember we made fun of that, right?
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Here we go. Fake estrogen podcast. That's what he called it. He says, if you're interested in doing a podcast interview about artificial estrogens, things like paraben, fragrances and soaps, herbicides, I forget, I don't even know how to say this, phthiols in plastic, red food dye, etc., and the health problems they cause, including lowering testosterone, total and free, let me know. Here's my book.
Here's my book.
Best.
No, I think maybe that's in reference to when we made the joke about that stuff.
Dude, if you're interested in doing a podcast interview, so no, he's not. It has nothing to do with that.
I don't know.
But I was like, this is really. Listen, guys, I don't care. I'll have anyone on this podcast if the material will cover what New York Muscle Radio is about, I'll have you on. I really don't care. But when it's like shit like that we don't believe in, it's like delete. All right, man, move on. Let's move on here. You didn't have nothing to say about that. I guess you'll tell me after the podcast what a piece of crap that guy
is. Yeah, we'll talk about it after the podcast.
Go ahead.
The more you use your discipline, the stronger it gets. It's like any other muscle. It's just like a bicep or your pectoral muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
And there you go. So what did he say in the beginning again?
You want to replay it?
And you could have just said it.
Let's play it one more time.
The more you use your discipline,
The more you use your discipline.
It's like any other muscle. It's just like a bicep or your pectoral muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
So I mean, I couldn't agree with that more. I mean, he's pretty. His stuff is pretty good though. The way he talks and presents himself, he's a good guy, Brandon. And you guys will see later on this episode. But yeah, I like that quote because he relates it back to fitness, and it's true. You know, the more you use your biceps and pecs, the whatever it is, the more you squat, the better you're gonna get at it. So it's the same thing with determination, right? Determination, he says.
Discipline. But it would be with the same thing, you know, in reality. Discipline, determination, even decision making, stuff like that. You could apply that to anything. You know, the more you do it, the stronger you get at doing it. So if you're not a decisive person, if you're not a dedicated person, if you just start forcing yourself to do those things over time, you're going to get better at it. It's going to become more second nature to you. You're going to be more of a decisive person. You're going to be more of a determined person. So if you don't have it naturally, don't think that you can't grow it, just like a muscle, just like a body part. You know, if you don't have biceps, do the arm program. Your biceps will grow. You know, if you're not strong in squatting, squat more. You'll get stronger at squatting. So with, you know, discipline, determination, decision making, any of that stuff, the more you do it, the better you get at it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think in order for discipline to really be, you know, on 100% for people, you really have to be focused in on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny because it's true, and I'm definitely a good example of that because Anthony probably knows this, but I mean, people who don't know me, I'm probably not by nature. I wasn't born a very disciplined person. I guess I'm inherently like lazy, more or less.
Wait, how did my sister put it on the Bikini and Barbell show?
She said that I'm the most lazy, non-lazy person. I think something to that degree. But fitness and just working out in general really taught me that and made me much better at it. Because at not being lazy and being more determined and, you know, pushing through and doing things that I don't necessarily want to do, you know, because, you know, when I was younger, you know, from people who don't know, I wasn't naturally in shape. I wasn't naturally athletic. I didn't like to really work out or anything like that. But then when I saw what I wanted, when I kind of got that image in my head, I want to look like, you know, somebody who works out. I want to be in shape. I want to feel better about myself. I knew it was going to be tough, but I wanted it. So I started doing it on a constant daily basis, working out hard, dieting, everything I had to do. And I got results, and it taught me. And I think that's probably one of the major things in my life that made me more disciplined and more, you know, more decisive and everything like that. And it came from working out. So it was one of those things where it taught me that I could apply it to pretty much anything. That's why I like that quote, because you really can apply it to anything.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, man. I really got nothing else to say about discipline. Like I said, if you really want it, then you'll find the discipline to do it. If you don't really want it, that's when the discipline is hard. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you can't. That's up to you whether you want it or not. Then from there, you know, it's up to you to do the work.
Couldn't agree more. All right, guys, let's move on to the listener question of the day. If you guys have a question you'd like us to answer, you could submit it on our website, NewYorkMuscleRadio.com. So listener question. Or you could call your question in at 508-687-2534. Okay, today's question is from Mike Miller. So if I could just expand this, my phone's a little slow here. He says, "Hey guys, I love the show. Lots of great information. I'm a New York, Brooklyn native working in Saudi Arabia." Wow, that's unique. That's cool.
Interesting.
That's very cool. I'm Mike, 41 years old, body fat at around 15%, and been working out for many years off and on. Only got serious a year ago. My question is, I hear you talk about calories in and calories out in 24 hours. 500 calorie deficit per day is about 1 pound of fat a week, 3,500 calories deficit. Does it matter if that deficit is still the same but have high calorie days and very low calorie days? Will it still produce the same fat loss? Thanks, Mike. You understand the question?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good question, too, because we talk about calories in versus calories out on a 24-hour basis, but actually when you look at it, you could even go as far as looking at it on a weekly basis. So let's say your goal is to lose 1 pound of body fat per week. Now, if you break it down like that, 500 calories a day over the course of a week will equal 1 pound of body fat lost throughout the week. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it evenly throughout the week. So you could have days where your deficits are higher on other days, or you have a greater deficit on other days, and then you have a less deficit on other days. Is that ideal? That depends. I mean, it's always easier to break it down evenly just because it's more simple. But you can do something like have high carb days, low carb days. At the end of the week, if it nets the same calorie deficit throughout the week, you're going to end up in the same place. Now, if we're talking about doing a day where you don't eat, where you're fasting on one day, then you have a day where you eat double the calories, is it necessarily going to be the same thing? Maybe not, but again, at the end of the week, it's going to average out to be the same. Performance-wise, that might not be ideal, but if you're talking just strictly fat loss, then yeah, over the course of the week is really what you're going to have to pay attention to, more or less. But when we're talking about performance, maintaining muscle mass, growing, everything like that, you're better off spreading it out evenly. But again, calories in versus calories out, even over the course of the week, is still going to be the most important thing.
All right, this is Big Pete's podcast, guys. There's you leave nothing for me to say at all, huh?
Well, you could throw in a little bit in there too, because I think do you apply any of that to yourself too? Because I know you do stuff like borrow calories if you have to.
Oh, very rarely, though. I don't do it on occasion. But if I happen to, so let's say, whatever, I'm like done with food for the day and I want something else, whatever. Sometimes you get a little hungry. I don't do this I don't do this often, so it's occasionally. But if I do want something else, or I'm a little hungry, I will borrow the calories from the next day. So again, if I have like, let's say I'm done and I borrow 50 grams of carbs, and then the next day I'll just put it in my MyFitnessPal for the next day, and then just eat 50 carbs less that day. So that's kind of how like I do it. So if I'm a little more hungrier today, I think that actually helps stay satisfied while dieting. But again, all that matters is over the course of the week and months. If you keep borrowing and then you end up never giving that back,
right? Yeah, that's a problem.
It's like
that's not
it's like when you used to borrow the books from the library at school and never return them, or Blockbuster. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Not return the movie at Blockbuster, you'd be like $100 for a movie.
yeah.
Yo, the kids that are listening to this right now, they don't even know library and what the fuck is Blockbuster?
They don't even know what Blockbuster is, man. Oh wow,
dude, I miss Blockbuster, man. That was so cool. On a Friday night, you go to Blockbuster, pick out a movie. I remember when I was a kid, I used to go and you used to take your girlfriend to the Blockbuster.
Yeah. Let's go to Blockbuster.
Never watched the movie.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say too. Or what you would do is you'd go to Blockbuster and you go there for about a half hour and then leave with no movie.
Yeah,
that's the other thing you would do.
And you'd pick up every movie and look at the back.
Yeah, you'd look at the back of every movie. Like, nah, I don't like this one. Let me look at the other box. Guys, you used to have to decide if you wanted to watch a movie. You'd have to pick up the box and turn it around and read the back of it. That's how you decide if you want to see the movie.
Do you remember when they started like selling the movies? They started selling like the ones that were pre-used, and they were like $5. Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah. That was great.
Those are good old days, man. That was when life was easy. Now you can literally stream anything from the TV. It's nuts. Isn't it nuts how things change in just a short amount of time? How long ago was that? 10 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago when you think about it. You know, I mean, I was still going to Blockbuster when I was in high school. So I graduated high school 10 years ago now. So yeah, about 10 years ago.
Good old Blockbuster. All right, guys, we're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back on with Brandon Carter.
Do you want to get the results you've always dreamed of? Do you want coaches that genuinely care, are professional, and get back to you in a timely manner? Do you want to be stronger, healthier, and look better naked? Then let me tell you, New York Muscle Radio is definitely your answer. Since working with them, I can hardly believe the results.
They coached me through a post-contest reverse diet and all the way through to an off-season strength program.
These two fitness geniuses have pushed me outside of my comfort zone, and in the process, I have been able to make big jumps on all of my major lifts.
In 14 weeks, I added 100 pounds to my powerlifting total and smashed my first meet.
Since working with them, I've added 55 pounds to my squat, 50 pounds to my deadlift, and 20 pounds to my bench press.
And in 12 weeks, I dropped over 10 pounds of body fat and added over 20 pounds to all my lifts.
I have never had as amazing of glutes as I have training with them. So I can say, no matter what your goals are, you're guaranteed to be stronger, healthier, and let's face it, better looking if Pete and Anthony are your coaches.
So if you are tuning in to listen and learn from the huge array of knowledge these two have, or if you want to hire them as your coaches, you will not be disappointed.
New York Muscle Radio, is the best in the business.
You heard it from our New York Muscle Radio clients. Do you want to join our team and reach your fitness goals? Visit NewYorkMuscleRadio.com for all our coaching programs.
But I'll tell you what, when I'm done, my biceps are humongous. Humongous. Like that bang.
My name is Anthony Bevilacqua, and I'm the host of New York Muscle Radio Podcast. My arms have been a weak point for years. When I started training, my arms measured 11 inches. Even after many years of hardcore training, nothing would get them to grow. With the help of my co-host, Big E, we set out on a mission to gain 1 solid inch to my arms in 12 weeks.
In the greatest experiment of all.
12 weeks later, this program finally helped me get 18-inch arms. The 12-week arm experiment, the ultimate arm growth program, ebook, the audio book, and the workout video. Pick up your copy now on NewYorkMuscleRadio.com.
Hey, great coffee.
Doesn't it taste good as Fresh Perk?
Better.
Better than those girls make at the office?
Honey, their coffee can't hold a candle to yours.
Caffeine, the world's only instant coffee that's fortified with muscle-building protein. Visit buyproteincoffee.com now.
Damn.
Nice, Pete.
What?
I saw you checking out that girl's butt.
What? I was just checking out her yoga pants.
Pete.
I was thinking you'd look really good in yoga pants.
Uh-huh.
I was like trying to check out what brand it was. Like I was looking at her form on deadlifts. They were all messed up.
Do you think she has a nicer butt than me?
Well, it definitely doesn't look like a pancake.
Did you just call my butt a pancake?
Well, I mean...
What can I do?
You gotta try New York Muscle Radio's Glutealicious program.
Glutealicious?
Yeah, you'll finally get a celebrity booty, like all the other girls following the program.
Fine, I'll do it. But don't get jealous when other guys check out my glutealicious ass.
Glutealicious, your guide to getting a celebrity booty in 12 weeks. Now available exclusively at NewYorkMuscleRadio.com.
What's up, New York Muscle Radio listeners? It's your co-host, Big Pete Kacharian, and I'm glad you're all listening. Put down that tilapia and asparagus. Learn how to get bigger, stronger, and leaner eating what you want. Pick up a copy of Cracking the Flexible Dieting Code exclusively at NewYorkMuscleRadio.com. But for now, let's get to the show.
All right, guys, we're back. So today we have a special treat. We have with us today personal trainer, nutritionist, fitness model for Nike, Puma, Adidas, Men's Health, and the CEO of Bro Laboratories, Brandon Carter. Brandon, what's up, man? Welcome to the New York Muscle Radio Podcast.
Yo, what up? I'm excited to be here, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, man, this is an honor. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, actually, we just found out that Brandon's from New York as well. And he's also sitting in the same blizzard that we're sitting in today.
Yeah, I ain't from New York. I'm from Chicago. I just live here. But I love it here. I love New York, though.
Yeah, every time we have a guest on the podcast, they're usually in somewhere warm, Florida, California. So everybody always complains and talks about the weather, how nice it is. And we're always sitting here in rain or snow.
That's because they're fucking soft. Like New York makes you, like the weather, it makes you more resilient, tougher. Like you go to LA and it rains, everyone acts like bitches and they're crying and they don't know how to drive. And it's like, man, you guys are soft. Like New Yorkers are tougher because of the weather.
Hey, couldn't agree more, man. So you have a YouTube channel. So anyone who watches YouTube fitness videos knows who Brandon Carter is. But for anyone who may not be familiar with you, give us a quick intro to who Brandon Carter is. And I'm excited to hear this because when you reached out to us to come on the podcast, my co-host knew who you were, but I had no idea. So I guess this question is a little selfishly for me.
Oh, no, it's cool, man. Like, that just means you ain't on your fitness game. That's cool. No, I'm just playing. No. I started a YouTube page a few years ago. Now we have 640,000 subscribers and like, I don't know, close, just under 100 million views, but who's counting? And and yeah, man, it just kind of blew up. I didn't even expect it to get that big, but so I just make a lot of videos, either motivational or instructional, or just workouts they can do with me, or just I try to just teach, man. I try to teach. Like we do a little. I mean, it's entertaining, but like my goal is not necessarily entertain. Oh shit. Drop the mic, man. My fault.
Yeah, see,
my goals.
Your arms aren't strong enough to hold your mic. Who's not on their fitness game now, man?
You got me. Nah. My goal. I mean, like I like to entertain, but my goal is like really like to teach and to help people. Like real talk. It's. I was telling you guys before, man. I've been a personal trainer since I was 18, like certified personal trainer. Training 10 people a day, like really like doing it. And I train pro athletes. So when I want to entertain, but I feel like there's other guys who entertain better than me. Like I really want to help people accomplish their goals, and that's something I'm passionate about.
Yeah, I hear you on that. It's like everyone on YouTube, they're just fucking. It's all about jokes and shit like that. I mean, that's fine and dandy, but you can't do that shit all the time. Like we talk about this on this podcast all the time, was we want to cut out all the bullshit in the industry because there's so much fucking shit out there, and we're really trying to put the good word out there. So I'm glad you said that. So we know that this episode is going to be full of fitness nuggets.
Yeah. And, a lot of these guys, I mean, I'm not trying to diss anybody. I want everybody to succeed. But, just
man, you can tell the truth, man.
As a trainer, it kind of bothers me, that they're not trainers. Like some of these guys aren't even trainers. They never helped anybody accomplish their goals. Yeah. They're just like, they just want to be fucking popular. It's like the equivalent of a girl taking butt selfies on Instagram for guys. They just like kind of showing off, or maybe what works for them, right? And that's cool. That's cool, right? That's fine. But I respect guys who've actually been training, man. Who've worked with a larger sample size of people, and they give advice based off shit that worked in the field, not just shit that they read or stuff that they saw that worked for them and their dumbass friends, but like people, like they seen a significant amount of people. They went through the trials and errors of being a trainer, and that's important to me. And I think that's something that's kind of lacking in the YouTube fitness space. So like or the online in general, like when guys tell me, oh, I want to be a YouTube fitness dude like you, man. I'm like, oh, cool, man. How long you been training? And he said, man, I've been working out for this many years. Nah, man. Not how long you been working out. How long you been training? How long you been helping people? Because that's what it should be about, I think. But maybe I'm just an old ass man. Like I think it should really be about helping people and not just showing off.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've been doing this just as long as you. We both started when we were 18. So, it's just funny when you have that kind of background. It's so different compared to all these kids. Like they do one contest and they think they're an online coach already. Yeah.
I mean, like they haven't trained anyone. They literally haven't been a trainer. And I'm not saying you have to do that, but we have some athletes that we're working with at Bro Laboratories. That's my company. And for instance, there's these two girls, and they like sponsored athletes or whatever, but before they started doing videos or anything, I at least made them get certified. So like, listen, you can't be out here talking stupid. Like I made them give some certifications. One of them failed it 3 times until she passed or some shit. And I was like, listen, man, if you don't know what you're talking about, you can't represent my brand. Maybe fucking Fit Tea or Shreds will let you do that shit, but not me, man.
Yeah, that's really cool. Actually, that's probably the first time I've ever actually heard of a company that would make somebody get certified. That's really cool. Yeah,
you got to walk the walk, I believe. Definitely. Right? Like, if you're not, then you're just giving theory. I mean, right. I don't know. You got to walk the walk. I believe personally, and so I'm glad you guys are. I'm glad you guys are cut from that same cloth.
Of course, man. We're from New York.
Yeah.
So it started with you as a personal trainer, and then how did you end up into YouTube, and then how did you get into like fitness modeling? I guess let's talk about, before we even roll into that, let's talk about you personally. So when did you start working out, and how did you end up to where you are? Because you have a great physique, man.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I got sent to military school. I'm from Southside Chicago, and it's like a pretty, rough environment. It kind of, people know what I'm talking about. It's pretty intense over there. And I got in a little bit of trouble around wrong crowd. I don't know if there is a right crowd there anyway, in the South Side, but they sent me to military school, and I went from coming from like an all black neighborhood and being kind of poor to I got sent to the military school, and I was there on some sort of like I don't know, like affirmative action shit. Like we didn't have to pay, but I was like the only one. The other kids were like rich kid, and I was the only black dude, or one of like 3. And that came with its own, unique set of challenges. They made fun of me, a lot of racist jokes, or just jokes about being poor. I couldn't afford some of the stuff that the other kids had, and I would just fight, because that's, I would fight. I get in a lot of fights, and I would lose a significant amount of them. Like I would get my ass beat a little bit, and then one day I just said, man, I had enough of this shit, and I wanted to start working out. So bought a bunch of muscle magazines, books, trying to figure it out, and I wasn't really making progress. I mean, a little bit of progress. When you first start off, you can do almost anything and get some progress, but it wasn't what I wanted. And then one summer I went home, and a friend of the family's dude named Aaron Muhammad. He was voted best trainer in Chicago like multiple years in a row. Right now he's Steve Harvey's personal trainer. He like flies around with him and everything. He's like, and he kind of just took me under his wing a little bit, taught me the right ways to train, right diet. He was a Golden Gloves champ, so he taught me how to box a little bit. So I went back to and I made some gains that summer, and I went back to school, and I was like, man, I'm gonna fuck up anybody who talks crazy. And nobody fucked with me though when I got back. Nobody, and I was like, wow, this is different. And what I realized is I don't think it was because I made, you're not going to get like 20 pounds of muscle in the summer. I didn't get crazy big. I think I just had more confidence. You know how it is when you work out, how it changes your perspective. It changes your the way you carry yourself. Yeah. It changes. You just you guys are trainers, right? You know what it's like when somebody's when you've been training someone for a number of months and they're serious and they make progress. You see how it changes their personality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what kind of happened to me, and I noticed that. And then kids, instead of fucking with me, they was asking me for advice. So I ended up like just helping, teaching them what I learned. They started making progress, and then I when I went to college, the first part-time job I had was a personal trainer, and I kind of just been helping people, train. I really like training. I really like helping people. That's my pride, and I've just been doing that ever since, man. It's like 15 years strong being a trainer.
No one knows how hard that is, though. Like a lot of people think, oh, you're just a personal trainer, but it's not easy, man. First of all, it's not easy to get clients. That's one. Two, it's not easy to retain clients. People always have different types of excuses. It's not easy to do it. It's just not an easy profession. People think, oh yeah, you just count reps all day. You have to do a lot more than that when you're a trainer.
It's like. So what was beautiful about that job is it taught me sales, right? Because I worked at one of the big Bally's. I don't think Bally's exists anymore, right? But it was a Bally's. It was a big one in D.C. because I went to school in D.C. And it was one of the big Bally's. And, when you work in one of these big clubs, you guys ever worked in one of those big clubs?
Yeah. I used to run one.
Mm-hmm. Oh shit, yeah. So the trainers, you gotta walk around prospecting. Hey man, you're doing that fucking curl wrong, man. Let me, you want a free session or something? Then you try to sell them and all that shit. So it really helped me with my sales skills, and I think that's translated into entrepreneurship, like being sales. But you're right, retention is really hard because if they get progress, they're like, all right, I'm good. If they make progress, all right, I'm good, man, thanks, and they don't want to pay for training no more. And if you But what's worse, you ever see these guys in the gym, man, making people do dumb shit? Like
we talk about that all the time on this show.
Yeah. This motherfucker's balancing on one leg, doing one arm cable rows, and I'm like, yo, what the? I really believe that a lot of those guys are doing like silly shit and just confusing them so they can't do it on their own.
Exactly.
Yeah. And even just as bad as that is the guys who are sitting around talking to their clients and like just talking and you can retain clients like talking, but I'm not your fucking therapist. I'm not your fucking hairdresser. You train with me, you're not gonna fucking be able to say shit except for please stop. Can we stop? Like you're serious. So if you're training somebody like that, it's even harder to get to retain.
Yeah, it is what it is. So how did YouTube come into how did it start? So you were training people now at the time, and then you just decided to start a YouTube channel. I mean, come on, man, we're gonna hear the whole story. So how did you end up modeling for Nike, Puma, like the whole thing?
All right, so personal trainers, like, they don't make that much money, right? Like, I mean, some you can, but like for real, most of them are broke, right?
That work in a facility, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, unless you have something else going on, But you don't make a ton of money, and I ain't like that, you know. Okay, so at the same time while I was doing that in New York, I got scouted by a modeling agency. It was I was just walking around and I started doing fitness modeling. Like they just sent me on some castings, and people just booked me, man. I ended up in a few, doing some shit for Nike, Brand Jordan, Puma, Adidas. Some of this was little, some of it was big. There was one point I was on buses, like in New York. I was riding around on bus. Yeah, that was kind of cool. I was in magazines. Being in magazines, all that's just cool. But even that doesn't pay a lot of money. So I got this one gig. For that paid, a significant amount of money. I thought like thousands. Less than 10, but it's like a lot of money in a bulk sum. And being from Chicago, man, I got that money at once, and I thought, man, I know how to flip this shit. So I told my agency, I was like, yo, man, put me in. Why don't y'all send me down to Miami for the winter? So they sent me to Miami, and I was with Wilhelmina modeling agencies, like one of the biggest ones down there. But I ain't going to no castings. I'm gonna say this in a way where it doesn't incriminate. I mean, it's past statute of limitations, but fuck it, man. I started fucking hustling. You know what I'm saying? Selling drugs and shit. And I was going back and forth from New York, man, selling cocaine, and long time ago, like way past the statute of limits, way past. And I was doing that for a minute, and that's when I was like, this the real money. Fuck this training and modeling, right? And that's what I was thinking. So I was doing that, and you're hustling, living that lifestyle for a while until my until some bad shit happened. Like shit got bad, man. One of my boys, his name is Esco, rest in peace. He got murdered. They found him in a car in Jersey, and within the same month, my father committed suicide. He shot himself in the head. Wow. And he was into some shit he shouldn't have been into too. I don't want to talk about that, but he was in, and I was, what I noticed is, you become like the people you're around. And another thing, not around the same time, my boy SV, he got he's doing life in prison in Florida, and so I look around and I'm like, damn, man, you become like people you're around. Everybody I'm around is going to jail or dying, and I saw the path, and I didn't like what I was doing, right? Like I liked the money, but I definitely felt bad, because I would see how it would affect people and kind of decisions. And I wasn't contributing. I wasn't helpful. There was something in me that didn't enjoy that. And so that's when I said, fuck this, I'm gonna stop doing this shit, because I know where this leads. So I went back to, I didn't have a lot of money saved up, man, because, I was young and stupid, and I was just blowing the money as soon as I got it. So I went back to New York, and I was like, man, I gotta get a legit job. So I started working for my boy's moving company, and at the same time working at my other boy's restaurant. I was the weekend manager and training people. I had on my own private clients, right, for extra money. So I'm working like 3 jobs for 7 days a week, because I was trying to stack up money, because I had this idea, man. I had this idea to start a supplement company and that, sell something that was actually help people, you know what I'm saying, and do what I loved, right? And the first product was T-Rex. It was a fat burner. And that came about because I was taking another fat burner at the time from GNC. It was really fucking with my blood pressure. I went for a checkup, and she was like, yo, your blood pressure is crazy. We need to put you on drugs. They wanted to put me on drugs. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. And I'm like, nah, man. So I was looking for natural remedies and just making some changes in diet. It's hereditary. It runs in my family. Hypertension. And I kept coming across green tea extract and other ingredients that actually naturally help lower blood pressure in conjunction with diet and exercise, right? And then I thought, man, if I put these together, being a certified nutritionist for a certain amount of time, I had an idea of green tea extract and some other things I could put together that would actually be like a natural fat burner and wouldn't give me these side effects. Then I think, man, other people would probably want this shit too. So I got with a laboratory in California, a manufacturer, and we tweaked the formula until we got it the way we wanted. And then I had it made, but I didn't have no money. After that, I was broke. I was still working 3 jobs every day, and that's when I said, fuck it. I got this flip camera, them old school flip cameras. And maybe I'll just post some YouTube videos and see if I get some attention, see if I can use that to promote the products. And it worked out way better than I thought. Like I kept going and the videos just, people liked them. I didn't know they would like them that much. And it just blew up. Long story short, now we have 10 employees, office in Madden. We have 4 products. We also sell workout plans and custom meal plans. So yeah, man, it's like kind of that's kind of the story. That's how I don't know how.
Well, no, because like I said, I really don't know too much about you. I'm finding out as we go through this, and my co-host actually wrote my show note questions here. So the next question is actually about, you have something called the High Life, and basically, I guess you kind of answered it already on how fitness improves the quality of your life, because you went from hustling on the street to, actually being a real businessman and taking yourself seriously and stopping. I mean, that in itself is a huge accomplishment. And I guess for anyone listening to this who has hustled before, they know exactly what you went through. And it's hard to stop, like you said. So I guess, what is the High Life in your words? I want to hear it from you.
Well, for me, man, it's just like, like living life on your terms, accomplishing your goals and actually helping other people do it. Like when I was hustling, I was accomplishing goals but I wasn't helping people. You understand what I'm saying? It didn't feel good, and it was risky. It's just that lifestyle, man. You've been on a roller coaster before, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, that feeling you get when you're going up for the first drop, and a little feeling in your chest, the little butterflies or whatever. Yeah. Hustling is like that 24 hours a day. Like you live in that perpetual state, and it's not what's up, man. And the story's always in the same way unless you stop, man. And for a while I was reluctant to share that story with people, but I know kids who live where I'm from or similar environments, they don't think they can be hedge fund managers when they grow up. They don't think they're gonna grow up and be investment bankers. They don't see any hope. And I like to believe that my story, the mistakes I made and the things I've done and where I came from, will inspire them to want something different and maybe even giving them some hope. And that's kind of I hope that I accomplished that,
Yeah, and I definitely think you're a good example of that. And when you first started kind of transitioning into the YouTube route, you said to yourself that you needed to get out of what you were doing. Did you have like a really big idea of where it was going to go, or did it kind of just evolve over time?
Man, honestly, so here's the thing. I didn't mention it, but all my life I thought I'd be a professional musician. I played guitar, keyboard, drums. And I left this out after college. I got signed to Sony Records as a rapper. And
get out of here.
Yeah, but
you did it all.
Yeah, I got dropped when they merged with BMG, and that's when all the other shit started. So initially when I started the supplement company.
Oh, come on, man! You gotta throw out a rap quick.
Nah, chill. I'm retired, man. I'm retired.
Retired. Come on, man.
Retired. Hey, man. Never died. I hung it up. And nobody wants to hear a fucking fitness star rap, man. You really want to hear Sean T rap, like nobody wants to hear that shit. And
do one for the podcast and New York Muscle Radio, and we'll get it. Don't worry, guys. For the end of the night.
Oh shit, I forgot what I was saying. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, initially the supplement company was just going to be a side hustle until I got my music career back up. And then one day I was just, man, I just thought, man, I should just go all in on this, man. Because I've seen the feedback and seeing how much, getting testimonies from people saying that it helped them and saying that what I did inspired them. And I was like, man, I can reach more people and touch more people with this. And not everybody can do this. So I'm going to take advantage, just go 100% all in. And I had a little studio in Astoria, like a recording studio. And I got rid of that. I sold everything. And I said, yo, 100% fitness, let's go. And honestly, that was the best decision I made. I wish I did it earlier. Like any you kids listen or anybody who has a goal, like focus. Do one thing. Try to focus on one thing, because trying to do too much at once, you'll accomplish nothing.
Yeah,
we always say that.
Yeah, and was there any one particular thing that kind of set you off to say, okay, I'm going to go all in now? Or was there a specific thing that happened?
It wasn't a specific thing. I just one day, man, I was, because like I said, I was all the weekends I was managing the restaurant and working for the moving company during the week. That's like 14-hour days, full body workout, moving fucking sofas and shit upstairs. It was just hard. And as well as training people, still having clients that I train, it was just hard. And I was getting older in my late 20s. And I was like, man, is this what you want your life to be, man? How long do you want to live like this? It's time to start making some decisions that are, like start taking shit seriously, man. That, and it's just a revelation I had one day. Nothing really happened. I just woke up, I guess. I just realized this. I didn't want to live like this no more, man.
So when it comes to accomplishing goals in both fitness and business, what would you say is the most important quality someone has to have to be successful?
You know what, man? Most people are just so fucking soft. Like they just
true, man. It really is.
Every time, people complain all the time, or they're crying, and they said talking about how hard shit is and why they can't do it, or they want to say, oh, he can do it. It's easy for him. It's like, so what the fuck, man? What he's got doesn't have anything to do with you. You have to work harder and work harder. It's like everybody's just so soft, man. And if you can toughen up, just toughen up, man, and understand it's gonna be difficult when you go after a goal. Like, and that's part of it. Like, there's no goal. You're not gonna be able to stroll your way into victory. Like every you got to understand that the failure, the heartache, the pain is all part of it. It's there's no stories where people accomplish anything great that doesn't include those pains and those struggles. And you just got to we still set aggressive goals. So we go through them now to get to where we want to be, and we don't start bitching and crying and complaining. We understand that that's part of the process, and that's just part of the process. And I think when people understand that and can just stick to it, that's one thing. And they also need to have more discipline. Just discipline. People ask me, how do you get motivated, man? How you stay motivated? How do you motivate? I say, I don't, man. I fucking don't. Nobody stays motivated all the time. Perpetual motivation is a myth. Motivation means, oh man, I feel great about it, man. I'm excited. I can't wait to do this. But discipline means I'm going to do this whether I feel like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you need. If you're relying on motivation to do something, one, you're soft, but two, also that's a losing game, because nobody's motivated all the time. It's discipline, not motivation. If you wrap your mind around those two things, expect it to be hard, and do what you're supposed to when you're supposed to do it, whether you feel like it or not. If you can do those things, you can be successful.
It's funny because I feel like as a personal trainer, you hear those excuses and complaints more than anyone else in this world, because that's like, I kind of always feel like sometimes your clients come in, oh, this hurts, that hurts, and sometimes you just want to tell them, like, yo, just stop. It's going to be hard. You're going to have aches. Just stop. If you want this, you have to just stop and just focus.
It's part of it. Man. It's just, people are so, they're just so soft. I mean, that's why they're there, man, because they got fat.
Yep.
From being soft, man. They're eating candies and cookies and cakes all day. And then they wanted to make a change, and they thought you were going to do it for them. They didn't realize they were going to have to work. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that on the highest levels. I was training the guy. I won't say the name, but I was training the guy who was playing for the Lions, Detroit Lions. And all season we were working out together, going hard though, And he was like, man, I don't feel like it today. I'm like, yo, what do you mean, man? Come on, man, let's do this. And he's nah, I'm gonna take today off. And I'm like, all right. And then that would happen more and more frequently. More and more until we weren't even training. Like the last part of the all season, we weren't even training. He was just chilling. He went back and he got fucking cut, man.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's what it's like in life, man. Once you start giving up, start quitting, you know what I'm saying, you're going to get cut from whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, it's true. So now, and flipping that now, what about the best thing you've ever done that helped grow your business? What would you say that is? On the business end of it, because we know like fitness, was one thing. So what about the business end of it?
You know what, man? I study a lot. I got certified as I took a speed reading course, and they tested me at like 600 words per minute. So I try to read at least 2 books a week, as well as like a few audiobooks. I go through. I'm listening to audiobooks and/or podcasts all the time. Like people with my headphones every time I'm walking around, everywhere I go. I just came back from a digital marketing conference in San Diego. I pay for like I paid like for high-end coaching or masterminds. That's what it's about. So you got to study, and this is on top of the marketing degree I have. Like this is it's like you can never feel like you got it or you know everything, or even even that goes in business, but even in training, like I'm still reading about fitness. I'm still reading about diets. If I have a bunch of diet books, I'm still trying to sharpen my craft. And so whatever it is you got to do, like you don't have to study like that. Depends on what your goal is, but you got to keep sharpening your craft. I think that's what I meant to say. You got to keep sharp. You got to keep sharpening your axe. Otherwise, it's gonna get dull. You got to always trying to get better, always trying to improve, and in business and anything. But if you're in business and you're not studying and you're not keeping up with the trends and you're not always trying to get new advice and learn what's new, you're gonna get you're gonna get blown away, man. It's too much competition out here to fuck around.
So you mentioned that you had a coach. So is this like a life coach or like a business coach? And if you want, you could shout him out on here, because I'm pretty sure like you're a successful guy, obviously, and it's got to attribute to some of the other things. So maybe that's some of the things that like me and my co-hosts are missing, having someone like that in our corner. You know what I mean? Or anyone listening to this is trying to accomplish something.
Fuck yeah! All right, so Elliot Holst.
Yes.
Well, first of all, he's like a brother to me, right? So he just gave me a lot of advice when I was starting. But he's like a I don't even like the word mentor, like big brother. That's like my dog. And he had a marketing guy he partnered with this dude named Matt Galan, and Matt like helped Elliot build his business. He also has a 8-figure supplement company. And he has.
Is he a young kid?
Nah, man, he's old. He's older.
Oh,
he's like early 40s, mid or late 30s.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not older than. He's not like old. He's older than me. And
dude, you're not old. You know that, right?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I mean, shit changes when you get in your 30s, though. Like I can.
I don't want to talk about that. Move on.
That's a different conversation.
I'm 29. I'm gonna turn 30 in 2 months. So
I can give you some foreshadowing on what's to come. But yeah, but Matt's like, I got cool with them, and I went to a lot of his events where he had like marketing events or business coaching events, and then and we became cool, and we pay Matt for consulting because he's already done what we want to do. We like pay him every month, like a lot of money for consulting, and I'm going to, he's having an event, a mastermind event, like a small group mastermind in Florida next month, and it costs like shit, man. We spent like $7,000 just to go to this shit, but like everything we spend on it like every time he gives us, like he'll tell us one thing that'll like skyrocket the income, shit that we didn't know, and it's good to have somebody who's been there, like you gotta. I don't know anybody who makes it without a coach, honestly. Like Jordan, he had Phil Jackson, right? One of the best coaches ever, but he also paid for other coaches. He paid for media people to help him when he speaks, so he can get more clients. He paid Tim Grover, who's his trainer in Chicago. They trained every day on top of what the coaching staff for the Chicago Bulls had him do. Kobe, same thing. Kobe Bryant had Tim Grover as one of his coaches too, as well as Phil Jackson. I don't know how you make it without a coach. Honestly, you can, but it's a more painful route, and it's gonna take a long time, man. I think everyone needs a coach. I think.
Yeah, it's funny because you watch some of these guys online and on YouTube and whatnot, and you kind of think like, they just got lucky and just got there. But it's a lot of, like you said, like trial and error and understanding where people have come from, and like having a coach kind of cuts down that learning curve for you too.
Yeah.
I'm excited that you said that, because I think you're probably the first person that we've ever had on to actually kind of admit that. When you kind of know that that's what's going on, but you're the first one to like kind of admit it.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. What was even crazier, like most of these YouTube guys, like me, Elliot, and maybe one or two other guys, we're the only YouTube guys that I know who actually run their business. Like most of these guys just make videos, and it's a bunch of guys who actually run their business, the business side of them. You understand? And these guys just make videos and post them. Like you ask them some numbers, or you ask them about margins or conversion rates, or and what's their cost of customer acquisition, or any fucking business question that somebody should know. They don't know. They don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Hey man, I just fucking make YouTube videos, bro. Because there's a bunch of other guys who are running, and that's cool. That's cool. Like I'm not knocking that. It's just that I have different ambitions in life, so it's just I set a different tone, for my shit. So those guys don't need business coaches, right? They've got some guys who are running their shit for them, and that's cool, if that's what you want to do. But that's just not the path I'm on.
I think that's really solid advice too, and a lot of the stuff that you're talking about is it's good advice, and I think everybody needs to hear it as far as just putting in the work that's needed to get whatever it is that you're going for. And I think that kind of brings up another question that maybe some people might have. I think a lot of people, I kind of know the answer to this, but I think some people might be asking, when you go that hard and you kind of just put all that work and effort into it, do you have any type of balance, or what's your stance on balancing, even with fitness? You have your business working hard, fitness working hard. Do you think that there's balance needed, and if so, where do you find that balance?
I think balance is bullshit. I
actually thought that was the answer, but I'm glad you said it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how aggressive your goals are. Mm-hmm. It depends on how where you're trying to go, right? If you have extreme goals, like extreme actions, extreme results come from extreme actions. You gotta be, if you want extreme success, you gotta take extreme action. And a lot of people don't talk about this. When all the motivational talk, just go out and do it, crush it. Yeah, start a business. But what they don't talk about is the price, man. I mean, there's a price, and it's not just hard work. Like, especially fitness guys, you guys are in great shape. So working hard is probably not the problem. It's what people don't talk about is the price, man. It's like it's the sacrifice, the shit you give up. Like the parties, the fucking the fun, the events, like the TV, and it's not for everybody, man. Like there's some shit that doesn't make me feel good, like I'm probably not the best spouse. I'm definitely not the best friend. I'm not even the best son, like to my. I mean, I take care of my mom, but I could be a better son if I had more time and more focus. People don't talk about the price you have to pay to hit an extreme level of success, right?
Dude, that's so funny that you're saying that, because literally last night I had a client at around 9:00 last night, and then right after my client we have to record a podcast. So I'm talking to my client, and we were he's saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna go watch the new movie, the new Logan movie tonight, since we're not doing anything tomorrow. And I'm sitting there like, he's telling me this, and I'm like, fuck, it's like, I want to go to the movies, like almost like in a sense, like I want to go to the movies, but I can't because I'm busy. Like I have something else to do. I kind of almost was like a little bit envious that this kid was just like, I'm just going to go to the movies. I mean, I could go to the movies if I want to, but I'm making that sacrifice. But like you said, not many people are willing to do that. People bitch and complain. I wasn't complaining, but it was kind of like a moment in my mind where I was like, wait, I'm sacrificing to do this. And like I said, I can go to the movies. It's not the issue, but you get what I mean.
No, I get it, man. Like, I don't remember. What was the last movie I saw? Fuck, I don't even remember. I'm not trying to be. I think it was Creed. That was a great
movie, actually.
It was awesome, man. I cried in that shit, man. I cried. It was the last time I cried. Fucking, yeah, man. Here's the thing. It's not for everybody. Like, for example, check it out. There was a point in college where I thought I might have wanted to be a doctor. And then I realized how much they had to go to school, and I said, yeah, fuck that. I'm not willing to do it, and I accepted that though. I don't complain about it. That's the thing. So like, either if you're not willing to do it, that's cool. Just accept that and like don't complain. Oh, he can do it or he can do it. Just be like, nah, man. You know, yeah, I wasn't willing to do what was required to be a doctor, right? And if somebody's not willing to do, if they see their goal and they say, all right, man, you know what, I don't want to do what it takes to accomplish this goal, then just make peace with that, right? Because it's not easy, man. It's not. I won't even call you a bitch as long as you're not complaining. Like, just accept it. Be cool about it, you know, and that's cool. Like you meet the jolly fat guy who's like, hey man, I would work out, but you know, I just like eating that much, and he's not complaining. He's just joking. I'm like, yeah, he just likes eating that. He likes eating more than he wants to go, and that's okay. Like that's okay. Like, he made peace with that. It'd be different if he was complaining, crying. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, well, listen, you need to make a fucking decision. Are you gonna go after what you want, or not? And if not, just shut the fuck up. You know, like, but it's not easy, man. People don't talk about the sacrifice. It's really, really, it's really hard. It's hard to maintain normal relationships. It's hard to have a family. I mean, to normal family, friends, women. It's difficult. It's difficult, and everybody's got to understand. You almost got to be selfish to a certain degree. It's a little bit of it is. I mean, it's not selfish, especially because if you're in business, right, you can't make money. People have to give it to you, and people give you money because you're providing value, right? So you're providing value, but you have these goals, and you're going after them, and people who don't have that same intensity or don't have goals that are, I wouldn't say that. Let's say people who don't have goals that are as ambitious as yours, you know, they just won't understand, and it's going to be friction in your relationships, and that's just a sacrifice you have to make, or don't, right? But if you really want to get shit, you got to make peace with that. And I don't think there's a way around it. Balance is for motherfuckers, regular guys who want to do regular shit until they die, right? Mm-hmm. If you can work at a regular job and just fucking work that shit, or have a mediocre business or whatever, and just do that shit and then have fun on the weekends, go to happy hour during the week. That's cool. If that's your thing. If you want balance, you can have balance, but you can't have balance and extreme success. It doesn't work like that.
Couldn't agree more. So I want to touch upon a little bit something you mentioned before. You mentioned that you're a speed reader and you've read hundreds of books. So kind of name your top 3 books you think every fitness entrepreneur should read and how these books helped you.
Fitness entrepreneur? Oh, that's interesting. Nobody ever asked me that question. They would ask me on my top books, but
that's because everybody you talk to is soft, man. We're from New York, we know.
Yeah, that's why I won't move from New York, man. Honestly, because everybody in LA is so soft, and not everybody. I love LA, right? But it's a different vibe. I get soft when I'm out there. If I'm in Miami, I don't want to work hard. I don't want to fucking grind. I don't want to stay up. I don't want to wake up at 4 a.m. like I do in New York. I get soft, you know, like, and so New York just keeps me, the hustle, it just keeps me on it. Fitness entrepreneurs should read Relentless by Tim Grover. That's the dude who trained Jordan and Kobe and Dwayne and Dwayne Wade. It's not an entrepreneurship book. It's just about the mindset that you need to have to be a champion. Like the guys he trained in, you know, like to be like a legit, and it's different. And he's the only book that talks about the shit he's the only guy who talks about like the sacrifice and the mindset you have to have and what you have to give up. And it's like legit real about it. That's one of the best books of all time, I think. But that just means nobody else is gonna think that, you know, because most of these self-help books, I've read hundreds. They're a little fucking soft, you know, like.
Well, like my co-host says, it's all mental masturbation. Some of those books.
Yeah. Nah, this is different. This is different. This is different. A lot of them is just, I mean, there's good shit in it, but it's all about being happy and feeling good, and all that shit. And that shit is self-indulgent, man. Like, emotions, you got to do it with if you really want it, it doesn't matter if you're happy. All your emotions are just a distraction. Like, I was going for a minute. I was going to be on. They wanted me to be on this show. I don't think I can talk about what it is, but it was going to be a show where you do. I can talk about it. Fuck them. It was that shit with John Cena where he had motherfuckers competing.
Oh, Grit.
Yeah, I was going to be on
something like that.
And it didn't work out with the contract, but I started training for that shit because, you know, the cold seemed like to be a big part of it. So I was going outside in the cold to acclimate myself to it. So I was ready for it, you know. And people, and I remember this one lady saw me. I had a tank top and it was cold as hell. And I'm walking, and people were looking at me crazy. I didn't give a fuck. I was doing it for a reason. And this lady was like, yo, aren't you cold? I was like, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's like Muhammad Ali had it right when he said, yo, I hated every moment of training, but I decided to work hard now and live the rest of my life as like a champion, you know. And these other self-help books, they want you to, be happy now, man, live, enjoy every moment. That's fucking bullshit. That's easy to sell some shit to that to a fucking chode or the regular guys, but that's not the truth, man. That's not the truth. The guys I know, like, I know some pretty, like, high level guys, man. Guys, you know, fucking 8 figures shit, you know, and they fucking grind, man. It ain't about being happy. At least when they were on, they're happy now. But when they're in the hustle mode, man, they were going for it. So relentless, if you want the truth about success. Let me think, man. I'm looking at the bookshelf, but that was a really good question, man.
Come on, you got to have 3 favorites. There's got to be 2 more that stick out to you.
Specifically for fitness entrepreneurs, you know, actually, like, this with any entrepreneur. So honestly, the 4-hour work week really, like, a lot of the shit in there is dated now, but the principles are, a lot of the tactics are dated, but the principles are sound. And, you know, that was that's something that changed things for me, you know, like changed my perspective on business.
Did you ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad?
I did. I read that when I was 17.
That book changed my mind. Yeah, that was an amazing book.
I almost dropped out of college when I read that shit. I almost did, man. I almost did. But, you know, that was really good. That was really good. That was that
one book for me that changes you. That was the one book.
The one book that really changed my life was Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins.
Another good book.
Yeah, that shit ain't, I mean, you know, he has a reputation, but that shit's not all flowery, man. That shit is, like, legit. I don't know, man. That shit is legit. And, hold on, I'm going to find one more for you.
See, only on the New York Muscle Radio podcast do we make these big guys, these big YouTube celebrities, turn their back and scroll through their bookshelf looking for a book.
Damn, I'm trying to, because it's for fitness entrepreneurs in general. That's what makes the question a little more complex. Damn, that was such a good question, man. You did a good job. I think we need a sales book, man, like a sales book, like Pitch Anything. It's about sales, and even if you're just on the floor at fucking 24-hour fitness.
It's called Pitch Anything?
Pitch Anything. I cannot pronounce the dude's name, but it's one of the best book on sales you can read, you know. And
did you ever read any of Grant Cardone's stuff, man?
I like Grant. I have. Okay, so here's the thing about Grant. Okay, so when I was in college, I did sales internships for Abbott Laboratories, like big time pharmaceutical company, Fortune 100 shit. And I was in other kind of sales after that, like we talked about, and I've been doing sales for like my whole life. You know, I've worked. Grant shit is just, it's too aggressive for my taste.
Yeah, it is.
I really feel like if you have to sell somebody that hard, then maybe your shit ain't that good.
Yeah, it's true.
Does that make sense? Think about the hottest chick you know, man. She's fucking banging. She's bad, right? The baddest chick you know. Just picture her. Is she going there fucking closing and selling a guy she wants? Nah, man. Her shit is so dope that the guys are coming to her, right? Yeah. So it's like I mean, the best. I'd rather you have your product so good that it's like you have to. Pitch Anything talks about this. Well, they talk about where you prize. It's called prizing, and Pickup they talk about it too, where you position yourself as, like, even if they're spending the money, it's like you look at them like, so why should I do business with you, man? And it'd be real, like you make them qualify themselves because your shit is so good. Grant Cardone shit, I mean, it's effective, and I like him, and he's a talented dude, and I give him most respect. But for my taste, if I had to sell that hard, I would feel like my whatever my product
is subpar,
inferior. Yeah,
I agree, man.
I wouldn't even do a deal with someone when I have to, if they're not 100% down, if they're not in an arrogant way, but if they're not chasing the deal, then they're not motivated enough for me to want to do business with them.
I couldn't agree more, man. That's kind of how I agree with that, because that's kind of how I do my sales too. First of all, and the way I look at it is too, if I have to convince someone they need us as a personal trainer, technically they're not going to follow through. You know what I mean? Like, they're not the type of person that I want to work with, because if I have to convince them that they need me, it's going to be a long road ahead for me. Whereas,
but you guys are fucking ripped though. Like, you guys are like the walking. You guys are in such good shape that you probably get people asking you, right, to about training.
Oh yeah, of course.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You got the goods, man.
The goodies. Remember that song?
Yeah.
All right, Brandon. It was a pleasure having you on, man. We really, really appreciate it. So if anybody wants to follow you, find out more about you, message you, or anything, where can they get a hold of you?
Man, you know what, man? Here's the thing, man. My Facebook page got 1.5 million fans. But if you send me a message on that Facebook page, I'll respond. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can hit me up.
Do you really? I was going to say that.
I'd be on that bitch, man. Yeah, man. Hit me up. Or, you just go to BrandonCarter.com. Maybe not. That shit ain't really popping right now. Like, we just switched platforms and I don't have it right. But, if you want to know some real good advice, you want to find out what the best diet and workout plan for you is, you should take my free Get Ripped quiz. Go to GetRippedQuiz.com, and it's free. You type in you'll be able to like tell us everything about you, and then we set it up so it gives you the best workout and diet plan for you and your specific body type and your specific goals. That's a free tool we put together for people.
Perfect, man. What about your YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, you can get me on YouTube, man. Just it's YouTube/High Life Workout, or just type Brandon Carter in the internet and some dope shit will come up.
All right, Pete, man, it's your turn.
All right, guys, Pete and Anthony with Brandon Carter, New York Muscle Radio, and we're out.
Enjoyed this episode of New York Muscle Radio? Make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, New York Muscle Radio.